Hi, my name is Walter Jared Wright, 22 years old. I'm a BFA performance major at the University of Central Missouri in Warrensburg, Missouri. I went to State Fair Community College before I transferred to UCM. You know, I had a really hard time about figuring out what I really wanted to do in life. But believe it or not, I have lost 110 pounds in 4 years. And I've developed my own workout and fitness plan. When you think about it, if you look at me right now, you're going to realize that 4 years ago, the person that you see today is not who that person was 4 years ago. You see, back when I was probably about, I believe, 15 to 16, there's just a huge chain of events that just kind of happened that were just really bad. My brother passed away in a car crash in like 8th grade, and I was about 14 or 15 years old. And I probably saw something that no 14 or 15-year-old should have never saw. And, well, let's just say that I'll just kind of start from the beginning of the story. It was a snowy day, January 31st, 2007, and basically it was just a normal day. Thought that my dad was coming. It was at the end of school and we were in band, and the 7th graders were gone. I was in 8th grade, so the professor, he let us take the mats out and we were wrestling on it, just having a good time, you know, just talking and just having just a fun day. So basically, I got a call from the principal's office, and one day I didn't know if I was in trouble or not, but then I realized that my dad, he was actually, I thought he was going to give me my practice clothes just for basketball practice. So I forgot him that day, so I just figured that's all he was going to do. So when I was told I need to go over there ASAP, I really didn't know what to expect, and at this time he was going to give me my practice clothes. But when I went from the band room and I saw my dad's face, I knew something had happened. And he didn't really tell me until we got to the truck. He's just like, you just need to get in the truck right now. We need to go to the hospital. And basically, my dad, I got into the truck. He told me that my brother got into a car wreck. And at first, my mind was just like racing. I was just like wondering what's going on. Is he gonna be okay? And I just didn't know what to think. And I asked my dad if I was gonna be able to go to basketball practice afterwards, because in my mind I didn't think it was as bad as what I expected. I thought it was just one of those major like maybe a minor car crash where like he might have got whiplash or something. But when I saw the weather, it was snowy, sticky, wet, just the kind of snow where it's just like easily to slide off the road or something. And we were driving to Marshall. It was about like a 12-minute drive, probably about 15 because of the weather. And when halfway from Slater to Marshall, I saw my brother's car being towed off, and it was flat as a pancake. Like it looked like it'd been rolled about 7 or 8 times. And in my mind, I was just thinking it was like something bad happened, and if he's gonna make it or not. So when we got to the hospital, I saw a glimpse of him on a table, and still in that mind of how I saw him laying there just kind of lifelessly, and it was just something I didn't want to see. and it was an accident, of course. Like, I guess they forgot to close the curtains or something, but a nurse pushed me off as quick as I could, or as quick as they could, into the family room, and like, I just knew that he was already gone just by kind of that quick glimpse. Ever since then, it's just always been on my mind, and I just can't get it out of there. It's just always constantly there. Well, about 10 minutes later, the nurse came in and she said that he can't get his heart to restart, because they tried it like 3 times. He rolled the car about 6 to 7 times. He crushed his chest. He was ejected halfway out, so half of his body was in the car and half of his body wasn't. And after that, he broke both his legs, I believe his right arm, and they said he had brain damage. So in all reality, if he would have survived, he would have been a vegetable. But he would have survived if he would have like wore his seatbelt. Whenever I think of it, it's just like it's just hard. And basically, he passed away, and everybody, they cleaned him up. The nurse said they were going to clean him up to where everybody was just kind of like all the family could go and see him. And I didn't go just because I saw him before they cleaned him up, and I just didn't know what to do. I just sat there in silence because the whole world just kind of went away. And it's really weird because I was talking to my brother about everything and anything whenever my parents wouldn't really understand. And knowing that he wasn't there, wasn't going to be there anymore, it was just life-changing. I mean, we didn't necessarily share the same room, but we lived across the hallway from each other, and we could, see each other every day. And just knowing I would wake up and he wouldn't be there, and all that, it was weird. It's just something that no 14-year-old should see at that time. A few weeks went by after he passed away. Things started getting a little bit better, back to normal. I still have that mindset. Everybody helped us out a lot. I think my dad might have took it the hardest out of everybody. My dad, he fell out of a tree when I was in kindergarten, and he kind of, I guess, when he fell out of a tree, it was about 3 stories out. He just kind of got slingshotted out of there, and he kind of fell and he hit his head, and it kind of got more like the mental part of his brain, so more of the emotional side. So he can't really control his emotions. He can either be nice to happy, and he just can't help it. And he probably took it the hardest out of everybody. And well, my brother was a homosexual, and like when he didn't come out to me, as my mom who told me. And at first it was a little different, but after a while, my brother, I was like, he's not going to do anything. He's never going to do anything. He's just my brother. He's just somebody I talk to and to hang out with, and just became really good friends. And we got closer to each other. And then, like, whenever he passed away, just all that just went away, and like, it was crazy. So like probably about a year or 2 afterwards, it was my freshman year, high school, I was diagnosed with seizures and epilepsy. It's actually kind of a funny story. I was at this high school dance, and this one girl asked me to dance with her, and so I kind of danced with her. And at the time, before like I didn't know I was having a seizure, there was these strobe lights, and like every time I could like see the strobe lights just kind of flickering, I would do this little twitch thing. So I'd be dancing, I'd just be like, she'd be like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm fine." So like afterwards, after that dance was over, it was kind of like a funny thing. I was always known as a class clown. I was already thought I wasn't like being serious about anything or any of that. So I went to the bathroom and I just had to like, I was just in like a cold sweat. Had to just like, you know, cool off and all that. So I went back in from the bathroom to the dance after I put a little bit of water on my face just to cool myself down. And like after that, it just started happening again, and then all of a sudden I had to get out of there, and just like as soon as I went out of the dance area, I got outside the cafeteria where they were holding it, kind of fell down into like a shakiness, and I just couldn't stop shaking. I couldn't see no light or anything, and that whole night, after I went back to my house and all that good stuff, like basically I had a seizure, and the next day I was tested for drugs, and they might have suspected somebody put like maybe any type of drug in like my drink, but they didn't. So it just kept happening, and after a while, so I went to see a neurologist for a while, and he took an EKG, and he found out that I had photosynthetic seizures. So I was on this medication that kind of like slowed down like my voice. It kind of speeding up my metabolism. And at this time, when I was about ready to go get my permit, I was told I couldn't drive. And being from a small town called Slater, Missouri, everybody loved to go back road, and everybody just wanted to drive and just like wanted to like basically, you know, go out in the roads, because there wasn't really anything to do in the town, so you just had to make up your own fun. But once everybody had a license, they could go anywhere. As time went by, probably about I think like maybe 2 or 3 months, maybe 5 or 6 months after my brother passed away and all that, I guess the physician my mother went to told her that she needed to keep me busy and to kind of keep it out of like the area to where I wouldn't be thinking about my brother. And so I got into Boy Scouts. I started with martial arts, and I found that it was just like amazing, just because like I could take all my stress out in martial arts by, you know, competitively sparring for it. It was just like really fun knowing like the self-defense, and that everybody there was just really positive who helped me out. But after a while, it was probably going into almost my sophomore year, my sensei, he moved back to Oregon. And then after I was in Boy Scouts, I was in that for a while. When I was about, I believe, almost 15, going into my sophomore year of high school, I was at baseball practice one day, and I just got back from Boy Scout camp. And, you know, I thought everything was going good, that everything was just going amazing. And, like, I was up for batting practice, and what happened after that was just, like, completely mind-blowing, because I hit this, I believe it was a line drive to center field, and when I pivoted my back foot, the cleats got stuck in the ground, so I couldn't move that ankle. So like I couldn't like step off when I was pivoting, and basically my foot got stuck. I turned completely around and my kneecap dislocated. I tried to get up and I didn't realize it at first, but whenever I looked at my knee slid down halfway, my coach was like, "Get up," and I was like, "I can't." And he's like, "Why?" And I looked at my knee, and I was like, "Okay, we need to call 911." And so yeah, basically I found out I had something called high-set patellas, and basically the doctor who I first went to kind of told me I could never really do anything active again. So then again, knowing that my brother just passed away, I had seizures, and now I'm having a doctor say that I just couldn't really be active again. I just can't really do anything like that. And like knowing all that happened is really depressing, and I kind of went to a bad stage. About 6 months prior to my right knee dislocating, my left knee dislocated, That was a really funny story just because like a cubby door nicked my kneecap and it dislocated, and then we went to the same doctor again who said that yeah, you have a groove in your joints, so your kneecap's a little bit higher than actual normal's knee, which is why they dislocated, which I could figure out why. And when it came to the process of recovering the knees, I had to wear a brace 6 months on each leg, just like to keep it straight leg, to where my kneecap, the muscle tissue and everything would just grow back to where it wouldn't really pop out. I can't necessarily tell you how the process worked, but basically I just had to keep it stabilized for about a year. So basically I kind of gained, that's when I really started gaining all that weight. And probably about my senior year of high school, I probably gained about maybe 50 to 70 pounds. Just because I couldn't do anything, and at this time I had an unlimited supply of Vicodin, basically. And I won't lie, I popped pills when I went to high school. Like the school really didn't have that. There just really wasn't anything to do there. It was just a negative environment. Like, I don't know, either you played sports or you did FFA or you didn't do anything. I just had people, just like making fun of me about the seizures, and I kind of found out my brother was homosexual, so it would make jokes about my brother doing things to me, and that would never happen. So after that, whenever I my English professor from high school, he kind of really just took notice of me that my English skills were just very excelled, like when it came to specifically creative writing. Just because like writing probably like a 5 to 7 page story to me was just a piece of cake, rather than doing a math problem or doing anything that was just like more analytical thinking. But when it came to creativeness, I don't know, he's just like, you should maybe go into acting one day or something more in the theater with writing. And I was like, I might just have to think of that, because during that time, my mom brought me a drum set and a guitar, and plugged my iPod in. I was just having my headphones in, and it'd probably be about 7 or 8 at night. I would just be up from like 8 to 12 or 8 to 1, just jamming out on either my drums, and not necessarily my guitar at that time, because I didn't really know how to play the guitar, but I knew the drums, so I loved playing the drums so much. And that was kind of like another, kind of like a stress reliever, kind of like what the martial arts and playing like sports did. So kind of found out my more creative side after my knees dislocated. So that's like one of the positive things that came out of it. It's just that I found out that you don't really have to play a sport or anything to have fun, because you can have fun by simply just writing down something on a piece of paper, beating a drum, playing the cymbals, playing guitar, even singing. Like, I just realized that being an artsy-fartsy wasn't really that bad, because during that time, again, from a small town, we really didn't have an arts program. Our arts program just kind of like went down the drain about probably my freshman year. And back when I was in probably like 4th through 8th grade, I was in band, I played the tuba. And me probably being about maybe like 5 foot, probably about maybe 120, I was a little short kid playing the tuba. It was kind of funny in a way, but I really loved playing it. Just like knowing the smallest kid in the room, just playing the biggest instrument. But I think it was when I had like one of my first knee surgeries, because we went to another doctor, and this kind of gave me another like chance of life, chance of doing a new life. Because back in high school, I don't know, I did a lot of popping pills. I had that limited amount of biking. I ate fast food all the time. I basically just, I was a rebel. Like I did the most like craziest things, the most like rule breaking things ever that anybody could ever see. So whenever I went to this doctor in Colombia, it was very life changing for me, because he found out that he did these 2 specific surgeries. They were knee scopes, but I believe he took out a tendon in each, where my kneecaps would float and say basically proportional and regular. So even though I had that groove in that joint, he found out a way to fix it, and he said that I could be active again, that I could lift weights, I could run, I could just do anything in like so many amount of time. So I was like, this is really cool. And starting off my freshman year of college, I had my own place, and I just did the same thing. I ate fast food all the time. I'd eat pizza all the time. And one day when I took a shower, got out, looked at myself in the mirror, and I was like, I just looked at myself for a long while, and I was just thinking, you shouldn't be like this. What are you doing with your life right now? Because heart problems, diabetes run on both sides of my family hardcore, and cancer. And I was thinking that when it came to this, I was like, I'm gonna get back down to how I was. I'm gonna lose all that weight. I want to make a new person. At first, a lot of people was like, you're joking, right? And I was like, no, I'm gonna actually do it. Because I had people tell me to my face that I would never be able to make anything of myself. I would never go to college. I would never be able to be skinny again. And I would do nothing with my life, and all I would be is like a slacker, and I wanted to prove everybody wrong. Throughout the mindset of my high school days, I was basically a pushover. A lot of people used me and all that stuff. So whenever I was looking at myself in the mirror, I was thinking about all that. And then from that day on, I believe it was September of 2007, is when I decided I'm changing up everything. I'm gonna make a new me. I'm gonna make something of myself. I'm gonna show everybody that you can do anything you put your mind to, because the impossible is never impossible. You can do the impossible when you're thinking about the impossible. So that's basically when I just first started. I'm going to completely cut out fast food and soda. So I did, and when I first went to the gym at State Fair, because it was a free gym, I really didn't know what I was doing. I just went in there, and I had my 2 roommates that came in there, and like they helped me out. I gave myself my fee, but then I started going there on my own. And back when I really had that great of endurance or anything like that, I basically started I don't know, I started jogging a lap a day, and then I basically started, each week I would progress. Like I would do workouts, I would do chest press, deadlift. I didn't necessarily do any squat, but I would use the leg machines. I would do abs, and just every day. But each week per se, I would do maybe 3 sets of 10 on each machine. I would do, the next week, I would do 4 sets of 15. And when I would jog 1 lap that next week, I would jog at least 5 laps that next day. And no matter how hard it took me, or like how fast it took me to do it, I would just like say I would do this, mainly just because it was a goal. And that's what really helped me out. And when I cut out fast food and I cut out soda, I lost 50 pounds in about a month. And that's when I was like, really thin. I was like, I can do this. I can lose all this weight. I'm going to do it. So as the years went on at State Fair, I was studying theater there. I did a lot of technical stuff, but I was like, I really want to go into acting. So I took the acting class there. I wasn't never really cast in anything, unless like maybe like a few small parts in some shows. There were silent roles, and at that time I was kind of getting back to that phase where I didn't think I was going to be good enough. So I started gaining a little bit more weight, but I took a semester off at State Fair and I moved back home with my parents because my dad had back surgery and my mom needed me to help there to support and everything. So basically I was there, I would help out, I would do all the deeds, and also I would like just take care of the house. My dad couldn't really be there, my mom, she worked, she had to be the only one bringing in the paycheck, so I was there. But then again, I decided to try and go into EMS just because I really kind of want to help people. So thinking of like a quick scheme, not thinking about personal training at all during this time, because I was still during my weight loss process and still trying to figure out myself. So basically, when I was at home, I just kind of devoted my life into fitness. I would help out my mom and my dad, and I would go for my EMS training to be an EMT at first. But going throughout that training, the more I was losing weight and just figuring out that fitness was kind of like key to me, I basically decided not to go into emergency preparedness because it just wasn't the life for me. It's because it was a very high stress situation. In all honesty, I think like the training and like how much time it took, it just wasn't really worth it. So then I went back to State Fair with a new mindset of like I wanted to do. I kind of wanted to be that person that would just like stick to school, because back when I was in high school, I didn't really care about school. And I won't lie, my freshman year, I partied a lot and I did different types of drugs and all that. But again, when I came back, I just like took it all away. And I just stayed focused on school. I focused on my fitness, just like trying to transform my body. I lost all that weight. The one summer, because I believe I was about 180, I wanted to get the last 40 pounds off me. And something that like really like changed me, because I had my own place, so, and like I still kind of ate fast food and all that. But then one night I was like, there has to be something that's kind of different. So somebody mentioned to me about my nutrition and like maybe you should look up some superfoods and all that. So I did, and at this time, this is when I started joining Brian's gym. I mean, right here, all around here. I mean, I'm in the sweat box right now. This is where I like to do all my creating. But the third thing about this gym, when I first joined it, I talked to all the personal trainers and all that. They really helped me out, and I would watch a lot of like the older veterans here and everything who were bodybuilders at one point in time, or just people who just loved to stay fit. And I would watch them, and I would learn about like what they would do and what they would eat. And I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna try that out. So I started meal prepping. You know, I'd eat a little bit of chicken and rice, but I wouldn't have like the right proportions, and I didn't really stay clean to it. But the semester, I believe it was the spring of 2014, after that semester, that whole summer, I basically devoted myself into meal prepping, figuring out kind of like a fitness plan of what worked. So I started doing research, and I figured out that what I was doing was helping, which right now I wanted to have the perfect body. I guess you can say I looked at Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone a lot because they were just fitness idols. Like everybody wanted to be like them, and the bodybuilding era. And I always loved bodybuilding because my uncle, who passed away of cancer, was at one point a bodybuilder. He's the one who really like kind of like inspired me just like to be in the gym and everything, just like, or go run or go play basketball or just anything like that. And yeah, so basically going back to how I started developing my fitness plan, I looked online, I figured out there's this method called the 5x5 free weight method. So basically you're doing chest, legs, shoulders, and back 3 days a week. And it's proven specifically that if you use the free weights like dumbbells and a straight bar, you're gonna gain more strength doing five simple sets of 5 reps than possibly maybe working one muscle. Like say you do your chest on one day, you're gonna work less, because if you per se do like a chest day, you only work chest that day. Well, going into about like 3 workouts in, doing 3 chest workouts, I would do the presses. So I would go one day I would do my chest presses, and then one day I would do my leg presses, and then one day I would do my shoulder presses, and one day I would do my back presses. And one day I was like thinking, well, you know, I could do this, but then I figured out at this point, this turning point was the key to where I figured out that my body was not going to be transforming that way. So what I did was I started looking further into workout methods, and I found out that I did a lot of circuit workouts when I first started losing weight. So I decided, okay, well, I'm going to combine the 5x5 method with circuits. So I basically use free weights. Like per se, I would do a dumbbell bench press, and I would do a single military gobbler squat, and then I would do bicep curls with oblique palm slides, where I was working the chest, the legs, my obliques, and my abdominal area, my biceps. So basically in that one circuit I was toning up basically my whole body. Basically what I was saying was that I combined the 5x5 method with free weights rather than using cables and machines at this time, and I combined them with circuits, so mainly pyramid circuits. So basically what I did was I would do 2 major muscles with 2 minor muscles, or 2 major muscles with a minor muscle for one circuit, and then I would do 2 minor muscles with an ab circuit. So I would just kind of go back and forth. So throughout that time, I started doing a lot of cardio also. So I would do circuit workouts mixing in with cardio, and I would do HIIT training with the cardio. So basically, per se, I used a step master. I would do about 5 minutes with it being at the highest level. Now I'd take a break and let my heart rate go down, but I would also be tricking my body. So I would go from like the highest level, I would go to probably like the lowest level for 5 minutes, and then the next 5 minutes I would increase it to go about the medium weight. Recently I've been helping a 450-pound man lose about 100 pounds off the nutrition plan I had helped him. I had helped a roommate who was 6'3", about 110 pounds, gain about 10 pounds in about a month's progress. And I've changed their confidence, I've changed their physical structure, I've changed their self-esteem, just everything about it. And now, this is what I want to do. I want to help people, I want to show the world that it can be fun being both creative and physically active. And everybody can do anything. No matter what they think they can't do, they can do something. So I did the impossible. I did everything everybody told me I was supposed to be able to do, but I did it. I conquered my goals, but now I'm just simply testing and seeing how far I can push myself in fitness, see how crazy I can like recreate my body. I am my own creation. And this right here is where it all started, Brian's Gym. And what can I say? Walter Jared Wright III. I love fitness, I love acting, I love making people act. I love making people laugh, I love being silly. And I love lifting weights. I'm basically an awkward nerd who likes to lift heavy things and put them back on the ground. It's kind of turned into a lifestyle. And this is it. Wright Fitness once I get certified.